What's up, everybody? Trey Griggs here with Beta Consulting Group for today's podcast of Standing Out, the daily podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. Man, we got a great show today. I can't wait to get to that. Before we do that, though, make sure you get a chance to go to betaconsultinggroup.com, see how we can help your company with your sales and marketing outcomes, and check out the events page to see what we're doing here on April 30th in St. Louis, the Word on the Street, Tough Mudder Charity Challenge to benefit Battle Buddy Free Gun, raising money for wounded veterans so that they can have hope and community. It's a really great charity. We'd love your donations. You can donate right there on the page or sign up for the Tough Mudder the weekend itself. So check that out. It's going to be an awesome event, and we're excited to raise $100,000 for this organization to help wounded veterans. I am at the Mid-America Truck Show today in Louisville, Kentucky. So there's going to be a little noise today. It's going to be a little chaotic. I'm here at the Hire Master booth, and they've graciously allowed me to sit in here and to do my podcast today. And so very excited about that. And it's been a great week of guests, man. It's been tremendous. If you've missed some of the podcast episodes so far this week, don't worry about it. You can go back and you can listen to any of the episodes that we had. Back on Monday, we had my good friend Mike Riccio, who knocked it out of the park. This guy's been in the transportation game for a long time, leading sales teams, so check that one out. Had my buddy Kevin Coombs on Tuesday. We talked about sales. He's at Green Screen doing some amazing things there. On Wednesday, my buddy TJ Knudsen yesterday brought it. Had a great time talking about his journey through transportation and leadership. Today, we got Brent. Man, this guy's going to fire you up. I can't wait to bring him on. And then tomorrow, make sure you come back for Sarah House. She's SVP of product at Diesel Laptop. She's going to talk about the connection between product and sales and marketing and how important that is. So make sure you come back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Central Time for that episode 19 is Standing Out. All right, let's get to it. We got a lot to talk about today. This guy is just like, man, if you ever want a coach, if you ever want a guy to fire your team up, if you ever want somebody to just speak inspiration and life into you, this guy is the guy. So excited to welcome my friend from Phoenix, Arizona, the CEO, founder of Pinnacle Growth Advisors, my boy, Brent Orsuga. Brent, what's up, brother?
What's up, my man? Good, great, doing great as usual.
I'm fired up, man. You're standing, you're ready to go. You got your workout in this morning, man. You're like ready to get fired up. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Yeah, so I'll go the high-level version. So Brent Orsuga, yes, Pinnacle Growth Advisors out here in Scottsdale, Arizona. We work all across the country, even up in Canada, do nothing but recruit within the freight industry. I always say this too. We really focus on three areas. Number one, let's call it the asset side. Number two, brokerage, where we do a ton. And then number three, especially the last couple of years, a lot within the technology game, right? So a lot of the software and hardware that's come out. But that's the sport we play in. I stay in our niche, and that's what we try to dominate.
I love it that you just said that's the sport we play in, because let's be honest, business is the ultimate sport. You talk about that all the time. I just want to jump right in. Talk a little bit about, I want to go with the Mamba mentality. Both of us are big fans of Kobe Bryant. Both of us are big fans of just excellence and high performers, especially athletes. Talk a little bit about your mindset, that Mamba mentality, when you think about your business and what you're doing.
Well, I think, the mindset for me has been very clear from day one. Like, I've always had a vision, right? I don't just kind of show up and wing the day. Every single day I have a set agenda, I have a set plan, and I approach it as this: just try to win the day. Even when I started the company from nothing, that was always my mindset, because what I wanted to do was build momentum. See, I can't control Friday. I can't control next Wednesday, right? But what I can control is today. And all I've ever tried to do is win that day, let that compound over time, and then go from there. So that was always my agenda from day one, and I still carry that today.
Dude, I love that. That mentality is just so critical, especially if you want to grow as a person. Jim Bevins, thanks for jumping in. Absolutely. Kobe's the man. Man, I still feel like listening to clips of Kobe just gets me so fired up. And Kevin Coombs, thanks for dropping in, buddy. It's good to have you on the show earlier this week. But dude, let's just focus in on a little bit. So, before you can lead people, you got to learn how to lead yourself. Talk about how you focus on leading yourself and some of the things you're doing to better yourself and why it matters so much. Like, why do you care? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a robot when it comes to kind of my routine. I think one thing that I do that I've learned from other successful people is you have to get selfish with your time, right? It's okay to say no. It's okay to kind of take things in blocks. So for me, the mornings are my time. Every single day, 7 days a week, 4 a.m. I don't use an alarm clock. I just get up, right?
That's crazy.
And what I try to do is I try to focus on myself physically and mentally. Because what I want to do is I want to put myself into a high performance mode, right? Because here's the thing. Once you open yourself up to others, once you open yourself up to the big world, people are going to come at you all day long, right? But I don't want to be able to do that first thing in the morning, because I want to get my body right. I want to get my mind right. I want to be able to attack the day. So when I do come into the office, we're big sports guys. I look at this like an arena. I'm here to play. I'm not here to hang out. I'm not here to network. I'm not here to small talk. I'm here to produce at a very, very high level, right? So as soon as I walk through those office doors, it's showtime. I don't play games. Like I said, I don't hang out. I have a very, very clear agenda because just like yourself, right? You have to go from yourself to dad to business owner to high producer back to dad. That's a lot to fill in a day. And so I know exactly where I perform in every environment that I go into, but I waste no time.
I love it, man. And then talk a little bit about specifics here. So just help people out. So you get up at 4 a.m. You do stuff to get your body right. You do stuff to get your mind right. What do you do?
Yeah, so I'll wake up at 4 a.m. At 4:40, I leave to go. Like out here in Scottsdale, I love this workout called F45. I know they have them all across the country because here's the thing. For me, it's 45 minutes of moving my body. It's a circuit group. I don't have to think. Every single day, 5 days a week, I do that. The weekends, I hike and play basketball. I come home between 6 and 6:20. I will get ready. I play dad until about 6:50, and then I drive over to my office, which is about a 10-minute commute, and I'm here at 7 o'clock. That's every single day. Now, the other thing I do is there's a 13-minute drive to and from the workout place. So every single day, I'm listening to some motivational dynamic. I'm a big Les Brown guy. I may also listen to a podcast. But if you think about it, that's a 26-minute window for me to feed this, right? So I'm pumping so much positivity in there that just transfers throughout the day. I don't listen to Howard Stern. I'm not listening to music, right? I'm feeding this and programming my brain full of positivity. Here's the other thing I'll share with you. I'm a big affirmation guy. I myself a lot. There's an app called Think Up. Think Up. And what you can do is you can actually create affirmations that are your voice. That is a powerful thing. If you were to drive for 13 minutes,
I love that.
And you're listening to yourself, what are you trying to accomplish? What do you want out of life? All these things, right? Because it's not Tony Robbins, it's not Eric Thomas, that's me. So I do little hacks like that because again, I know that I can control up here, and so I take that very, very serious. Every single day I program like that.
Dude, I love that, man. It's like people don't understand the power of programming your mind. Like your mind is the most powerful thing in the universe, literally. Like it's the most powerful thing you own. And yet if you don't program it, it will program itself with everything else that the world's going to throw at it. All the stuff you're going to see, the shows you're going to watch, all that crap that just wastes time. But if you program it, it changes everything.
Well, that's right. I mean, there's an amazing book called You Are What You Consume. You are what you consume. And I truly believe that, right? Because you can go one of two ways. You can go the negativity path and let all that come at you. And then what's that going to do to you emotionally, right? Mentally. It's draining. I don't want any part of that. I want to play at a high level. Therefore, I got to pump that high level inside. So I control a lot of that.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. And DJ asked, what's the name of that app? It's Think Up, right? Correct. Think Up.
Think Up. Yeah, you can find it on iTunes for sure. And you'll be able to, like I said, program your own affirmations and then record it in your voice. It's crazy. It's awesome.
Freaking love that. You know, I'm gonna have to do that. And something I do, I've always struggled with confidence. It's been a struggle in my life. It just was like some things growing up. I've had to learn how to train my own mind to be justifiably confident. And I'll go in front of the mirror. I'll look myself in the eyes. I'll say, you got this, keep going. And I'll just kind of talk to myself. Self-talk is some of the most important talk you'll ever hear.
Well, here's the thing too, Trey. Never forget this sentence. Confidence comes from competence.
That's right.
See, I've invested so much into myself, into this industry, that's where the confidence comes from because I know I've outworked so many other people to get here, right? So when everyone says, man, how are you so confident? Why do you have this swag? Because you haven't seen the decade plus of work that I've done to get here.
That's right.
Right? So before I built a brand,
over and over.
Yeah, man, but before there was a brand, you know what my brand was? I put my head down, I produced for years and years and years, and I let the market talk about me first. Because the results were there. Then I popped my head up and said, yeah, that's right. So a lot of times right now you see these content creators try to pop up, but you know what you should be focusing on? How about being a revenue generator? How about producing results within a marketplace, right? Before you focus on likes, why don't you focus on actually producing something that matters and helping people within an industry? The rest will follow.
That's right. Get the job done. You have some meat to it all. And I love what you're talking about. Like the work that you put in, it's justifiable confidence. It's like when you step up to the free throw line at the end of the game, and you just know you're going to make them because you've done it over and over and over in pressure situations. You put yourself in the cooker, you failed, you've learned from it, and you figured out how to control your breath, how to slow things down. You just know you're going to make them. Like, that confidence in business is powerful.
Well, I think this too. I mean, you touched on a great point, which is visualization. I mean, think about this in sports, right? Again, we're going to go back to that. A free throw shooter, a field goal kicker, somebody in soccer kicking a penalty kick, a guy about to hit a huge putt. What do? They slow down. They visualize it first. So I approach myself to that day. Before I get on a phone call, I imagine how I want to see that going. I don't just wing it. Hey, how's it going, right? I've already played it out in my mind. Before you and I are going to step stage on the TIA, you don't think I'm going to be sitting behind the scenes thinking about what that's going to look like, thinking about what the audience is going to be, the reactions, all those things. So this is a movie that I play out before I engage on any phone call, any business meeting, any presentation. I don't just show up.
That's right. And you know, the mind is the most powerful DVR ever created. And it doesn't have to be real events. It can be things that you imagine. You think it, and then you can see it happening. I mean, the mind is so powerful to do that. Man, I love that. Tell me this. What's your motivation? Like, where did this come from for you to have this kind of drive?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, I got two little girls. They're 9 and one's turning 6 on Saturday.
Dad of girls, let's go.
Yeah, girl dad, they're beasts too. But once I made the decision to kind of go out and on my own, there was never a plan B. This was my identity.
This is it. That's right.
This is it, right? So I never gave myself an out. So, you know, in my mind, you have to become the best at this. You have to invest the time, energy, and focus into this, number one. And number two, I've had triggers throughout my life. Look, everyone has a story, right? Everyone's got stuff that occurred. 2016, 2 years into business, my dad passed at 62 from a heart attack, right? On a Monday night, my entire life changed. So here's the thing.
Yeah. In
an instant, you became the man of the family. Everyone in every family has somebody that people are going to lean on, right? So I became that guy very fast. My mindset was this. If you're going to become the man of the family, you better become the man. Like right now. And I believe this too, Trey. I think in every single family, there has to be one person that changes the trajectory of where that family is going to go. That's been myself, right? So now what I've done is for my wife, for our children, for hopefully as that goes on and on, I've changed the trajectory of who we are, our identity, how we travel, how we do things, how we operate, right? The confidence that we have. There's just got to be one person that takes that leap and does that. Why not you? That's why I
absolutely, man.
Because if it's not you, who's it going to be?
I love that, man. I love that. You know, it just takes one person, one vision, communicating that vision. And I love DJ said, man, that's your why. That is your why. Like, your family is your why. And I love he said that there is no plan B. When you give yourself a plan B, when you give yourself another option and things get tough, you're going to take it. You're going to pull the parachute and you're going to jump out. And that's what you're going to do. Is you're going to take the other option because it's safer. It's easier. But when you give yourself no plan B, that's powerful, man.
Well, and here's the thing too. You know, I think that not many people have ever put themselves in a situation where they're back to the wall. They've always had a bailout, right? They've always had an option. I never gave myself an option. I wanted to put myself into a corner and fight my way out because I feel like that's where you find out what you're made about, right? And I still take this approach right now. I know this might sound crazy. I work broke every month. I work angry every month, right? I don't care what accolades, all these awards, all that is amazing. That's in the past. That's why it's behind me. That's why it's behind me, right? Because all my goals and all my vision is in front of me. The windshield's bigger than the rear view mirror, right? So I'm focusing on this. I mean, no one sees this because I don't let many people in my office because it's like a vision board. But everything I'm trying to accomplish is constantly in front of me.
I love it.
And that's how I live life. Because how can I sit here and look at this and not give it an A+? Not go at it hard every single day.
Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. The mindset is so critical. Learning to lead yourself is so critical, which we're talking about. But you transitioned. How long ago did you start, hiring people to come into Pinnacle Growth Advisors? What led you to that decision? And what was that transition like from leading yourself to now leading and being responsible for other people?
Yeah, sure. I mean, those first kind of 3 to 4 years, I was a one-man band. I was on my own, right? Because you had to build the foundation, right? That was the first thing you do in a house. You got to build that foundation and get that baby off the ground. So I had to be very conscious of the brand that I was building, the reputation that I was building, but I wanted to be dominant first before I could bring other people into that platform. You know, it was back in 2018 when a lot of people know Josh, who's going to speak at TIA as well. You know, he had hit me up and we're like, okay, let's do this. Let's go, right? So now the biggest joy that I find now is bringing on other people and leading them and guiding them and showing them what it takes to succeed at a high level, right? Because you got to remember what we do. We change people's lives. That's what we do, right? Recruiting, I don't like the word recruiter because it has a bad annotation to it now. I mean, I look at us as like talent advisors. I talked to Grace about this the other day. I want to be so dialed into the industry. I want to know everyone in Chicago. There's a reason I fly all across the country, go to all these conferences, right? Because I have no set agenda when we talk to these candidates. I don't know enough about them to predetermine what path we're going to go down. I don't know. Number one. And number two, I don't know what you want. So how can I have my own agenda of where I'm going to take you until I find out more about you, your vision, your goals, your direction, and then I can take you down that path. But internally, like for the team, you know, you have to know as a leader, these people are betting on you as much as they're betting on themselves. They're looking at you and being like, you know what? That person is going to help me guide myself and my family to the goals that I have. So you ask myself, like, how can I not show up with a 10 out of 10 every single day? It's selfish if I don't. These people and their family and their mortgage and their kids' private school are betting on you. So as a leader, I don't show up at 9 a.m. I'm the first one in and the last one to go 8 years in. I'm going harder than I ever have, right? Because that's the identity and the tone that I have set. That's who we are. So I want to show these guys, yeah, that's what I'm doing for you, right? I'm putting myself in a mental space. I'm making myself sure that I'm physically in as tip-top shape as I can so that we can all perform at a high level. How many leaders do that? And how many leaders walk in the door with their iced coffee at 9 o'clock and go sit in a corner office? That's not a leader. That's a manager. I don't do KPIs, right? You know what I do as a leader? I invest in these people and I want to know what they're trying to accomplish. What do you want? Because every one of them is going to have a different goal, right? We have people that are going to have children for the first time, a second child. Josh just moved out there to Florida. So how I manage and how I lead is through knowing exactly what they're trying to accomplish and helping them achieve that. It's not about what was your talk time, how many calls did you do today, how many presentations. I don't care about that.
Dude, I love it, man. I love it. And you can't just show up and talk about it. You can't just say it. You can't talk about these things. What I love about you is that not only do you help them reach their goals, but you truly lead from the front. You're still in the grind. You're still in the trenches. You're still getting after it. Man, I love that. Leaders lead from the front. You know, they go first. They get bloodied up. They take the wounds. They don't send somebody else in to do that. Man, I love that. Love that about you.
Well, I think it's contagious, right? It's contagious. If you carry yourself a certain way, as a company, you are creating that identity around who you are, right?
Your brand. That's right.
As weird as this may sound, I kind of look at us, and I've heard this from others. You're kind of like SEAL Team 6, right? Like you're being sent on a mission. Even when it comes to recruiting, you don't just spray and pray. Like we're known for being very, very targeted, very strategic on everything you do. You go in and you get the mission at a high level and you get out. That's what I'm trying to create. I want that swag. I want that confidence, but it has to be justified and it has to be real. And it starts with how you carry yourself.
I love it, man. And the fact that you want to know about your team members, like what are they caring about? What are they working towards? Where they're struggling? What's going on in their life? What event did they just experience that's going to impact, you know, how they're thinking or how they're working and how you can impact that as a leader. Like that is so critical, man. I love the fact that you do that. And I want to touch on one thing. So you said that Joshua Walker, he came to you and said, hey, let's do this. Or did you reach out to him? He came to you, right?
Yeah. I mean, as weird as this sounds, most everyone has come to me that rolls with us now, right? And so
it's not like weird at all. Not weird at all.
I mean,
because you have put yourself out there and they know who you are and they resonate with your values and what you're doing. And they want to be a part of that. That's the value of building a brand.
And I don't blame them. I think I'm a good bet, right? I would bet on myself every single day, right? I did, and I still would. But I mean, that's exactly it. Because as a leader, like as you go through even an interview process, right? You can talk about the job, you can talk about the base salary, but I tell everyone, show me who's leading that train. because that is going to dictate exactly how far you go personally and where you go in your career.
That's right. That's right. It's more important the leader that you work for, in my opinion, than the job you're actually going to do, because the leader you work for is going to help you, succeed whatever you're doing and get you where you want to go. Whereas if you're just doing the job you want to do with a bad leader, you're going to get burnt out. You're going to get tired. You're going to leave. You're going to quit. People don't leave companies; they leave people. Happens every
100%.
time, right? 100%. All right, so listen, let's transition for a minute. I mean, this is freaking gold. And by the way, Joshua, thanks for watching. Appreciate you jumping in there. It said it changed the trajectory of his life going to Pinnacle, the best talent advisor in the game. So glad that all worked out with him. And you got, how many do you have now? 7, 8? What are you up to?
7 of us all across the country.
7. Love it. Yep. Awesome, man. That's exciting. So let's transition for a minute, man. We got a big event coming up in less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks, we're going to be out in San Diego. We got TIA coming up. Currently, I think there's over 1,200 people registered, maybe 1,300 now. It's going to be an awesome event. A lot of people come to that. Dude, what are you pumped up about for this, and why do people need to come to stuff like this?
Look, I mean, personally, I'm a big face-to-face person. I think after 2 years of this, nothing will ever replicate a handshake, a steak dinner, 100%. Interaction, right?
100%.
Because here's my biggest thing, especially with what you and I do. Sales and recruiting, Trey, is nothing more than an exchange of energy. That's all it is, right? It's very, very hard to do that through a camera. But when you're able to meet with people, have conversations, look them in the eye, shake their hand, understand how they're built and how they're wired, right? It's a different dynamic. It's a different conversation. And sometimes, too, you got to take people out of their element. I've been in hundreds of brokerages, right? That's the reason I go there, because I want to see that environment. But I also want to see you outside of that, because I want to know who you are as a person to make sure that our core values align and that we're saying the same thing. So that's the value of getting into one centralized area, is you have so much access to people.
Oh, it's tremendous. I can't wait. It's so exciting just to see the energy, to meet people that maybe you don't know, talk to people that we haven't been able to talk to in the last 2 years because of the pandemic. Like you said, shake hands, have dinner, tell stories. A shared experience is so valuable when it comes to like building business relationships. A lot of people think that people just buy, like maybe technology, you might buy it without knowing anybody. And that happens from time to time. But outside of that, it's a relationship business, man. You got to know who you're working with. You got to trust them. You got to be on the same page. I love the fact that you want to know what their core values are. Do they align? Is this going to be, because when you have like for yourself, when you're a vendor and you've got a relationship with a company or with a candidate, in many ways, it's like a marriage. It's like a date. Like you're spending time together. Like you're in this together to make this successful. You want to work with people that share a lot of the same values and visions. I love that. And being together is amazing.
And I'm going to speak on that, Trey, because you said a word that, like, to me, I don't even like saying, which is vendor. Because to be honest with you, I consider us a partner. I don't want to be another vendor, right? Vendor means transactional. Maybe it's one-sided, but a partner, see, I really want to be an extension of these companies, right? And I question, and I would think they would want us too, right? But to become a partner, you have to be dialed in and well-versed and know these companies inside and out. See, I can go sign recruiting agreements with anybody in the industry. But then what do I really know about them, right? And this is my pet peeve with recruiters, is what they do is they sign up with all these companies, right? And all they do is tell you how amazing something is. It's so great. It's look at this, look at that. But as a candidate, I would push back. How do you know? Have you been in that office? Have you met with the leadership? Have you placed other people there? Give me some real life stories, not just try to make $1,000 commission on your head, right? Tell me the difference. That's the difference between us two, is I've been in these offices. I have sat in the same conference room that these candidates are going to go into, right? I've had dinner with all the leadership and the hiring managers. I probably placed the hiring managers. See, we've placed thousands of people across the industry that people don't even know. You don't see me showing that on LinkedIn, right? You don't see me broadcasting all the logos we work with. I do it behind the scenes and secretly. And I'll tell you what, these companies like that because we're a secret weapon to them. Right?
Yeah, dude, I love that. That's just so awesome. And, when you like what you said, shout out to my boy Jane Gerbina. He's the head women's basketball coach in Western Illinois. He told me that success is the result of proper expectations. And when you think about candidates and you're helping them prepare for an unknown, really, I mean, it's an unknown. Like when you go through a job interview, all you know is what you know from that interview and what you try to discover, which is it's a little taste. But if you can, for example, if you can give them, the 411 on exactly what they're walking into, here's the good, here's the bad, here's what you're going to have to deal with, it sets them up to be successful in ways that just a regular recruiter is probably not going to do. They're going to sell them on a bill of goods that might be partially true, but it's not the full picture. I love the fact that you do that and that you think of yourself as a partner more than a vendor, and apologize for saying the word vendor. We'll keep it as partner. But I completely agree with you on that. Like that's the right way to think about it, without a doubt. No, it's going to be great to be out at TIA and see some people that are going to be out there, which is awesome. So talk for a moment about, we've talked about vision, which is critical. I mean, you got to have vision. Talk about your vision for where you're headed with Pinnacle and what you're thinking about from a recruiting standpoint in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to put this out there because I'm a big believer in putting things out to the universe. So anyone that really knows me, my family, my friends, my children, like I'm obsessed with goals. And right now, the current goal that I'm obsessed with is getting on the Inc. 5000. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. See, and I'm such a believer in achieving that because this is the thing. I think everybody should be rooting for us. I really do. I think everyone should be like, Brent, I want you to be on that list. I want to see Pinnacle on the list because here's the thing. The only way that we get there, the only way is by helping so many people make moves within the industry, right? So I almost want everybody to be our biggest cheerleader. Like, let's go, Brent. Let's do that, right? Because number one, I want to be the face of supply chain. It's an amazing industry that's not going away, and I want to broadcast it more out there, number one. And number two, I want to help and impact so many people that I want as many of these awards and accolades. It's not about ego. You know what? Every single one of these has a story and a face behind it. So I want them all because it means that you're creating a legacy and you're making a difference in people's lives. That's why these things are important to me.
Dude, I love that. Zig Ziglar, shout out to Zig Ziglar, who said you can have everything that you want in life. In this case, being on the Inc. 5000, you can have everything you want in life if you help enough people get what they want in life. And I just think that's so cool that you're wise, like to help people. And that's your mark for success. How many people can you help get into the right spot to fulfill their life, to build the life they want to build, to be fulfilled in their work, to be satisfied, to be with a great organization? That is life changing. It changes everything. When the most time you spend at work is some of your most valuable time. It's incredible. I love that, man.
I'm going to give you a real life story too. I mean, just even this past Sunday, there's a candidate that I placed 5 years ago, right? We're not candidates, man. We became friends. He was at my house with his wife and children. And his wife and child told me how I changed, just like Josh said, the trajectory of their life. Right? In one introduction, now this person is making 7 figures. Now, here's the thing. As amazing as that is, all I did was open the door. And I pushed back and said, no, you did the hard work, right? I may have done the introduction, but it was on you, brother. And so I have so many of those stories that are amazing, right? So that's what I'm saying. Just if you focus on other people and not yourself, the rest takes care of it.
I love it. And that's fueling the fire, man. I mean, every time you think about helping people, these stories pop up, and it's got to be just incredible fuel for you to keep going and see who else you can help, what else you can do.
That's right.
Oh, dude, I love it. Awesome, man. Dude, I can't believe we're running up against time. This went so fast, but I knew this was going to be fire. We've got to have you back on, talk a little bit more about what's going on, especially after the TIA. Get fired up. Talk real quick. Last thing I'm going to talk about is talk about being a dad real quick and what fires you up with your kids. Because I know sometimes you put videos on where you're telling your kids to take their shot. Talk a little bit about instilling this in your kids.
Well, I mean, having 2 little girls, I mean, the biggest thing that I try to instill in them is, number one, independence. I don't ever want them to have to depend on no man, nothing like that, right? You run your own race. That's who we are. That's the identity that I've created in our family.
Take your shot. That's right.
Number one. Number two, I want them to have and understand self-belief and self-talk, right? I don't let anybody discount them. I don't want them to be at the mercy of what they're hearing on the playground. I want them to walk into any room and any environment they are with some confidence, right? Because I want them to carry that. So that's, again, something that I try to inject in them. Unfortunately, I only do drop-offs on Fridays, but you should see these Friday conversations. I get these girls dialed in, right? They run out, and the administration is like, whoa, would you light these girls on fire? Because they're dialed in, right? And again, that's the biggest thing. I don't care if it's children. I don't care if it's your spouse. I don't care if it's your family. You have to be that leader that injects that energy into people and then watch how they go. You have to make people better around you. And every single person has the ability to do that, but you have to be able to put in the work to get that confidence to transfer to others.
That's right. At the end of the day, they're watching you. So then you gotta walk the walk, and I love the fact that you do that, man. That's what it's all about. You talk the talk, you do your job as a leader, a visionary, pour into people, but then you walk the walk, man. Brent, thank you so much, man. So excited that you're on the show today. It was just an awesome show. I'm glad that people got to watch, got all the comments. Thanks to Hayden Allred for jumping in, Greg Roberts, Scott Watanabe, got to get that right, the Freight Sensei. So many good people on the show. If you guys enjoyed it, we're going to have you back, man. I hope you come back and join us.
I appreciate it, and I'll see you in San Diego, my man.
Love it, man. And for the rest of you guys, make sure you come back tomorrow for episode 19 with Sarah Howe. It's going to be a great show on Standing Out, a daily podcast on sales, marketing, leadership, brought to you by Beta Consulting Group. Everybody, have a killer Thursday, and we'll see you tomorrow.